Hey everybody, just out for my walk through the neighbourhood today, just thought I'd jump on and do today's content. I'm going to talk to you a bit today about cover letters, specifically how to write them. Okay, first things first, cover letters are obviously a staple in any job application that you are doing, which means that it's very likely you have written a cover letter before, and it's very likely that you have had all these feelings of overwhelm or uncertainty about how to actually write the letter. What I'm going to talk about today is actually how to know you are writing a good letter. So the first thing we need is structure, okay? So try and keep your letter to one page and try and have about 4 or 5 paragraphs, okay? So paragraph 1 is an introduction. So this is where you say, hey, I'm writing to apply for this position, this is where I saw it, and you know, here is some information about why I think I'm a suitable candidate. Paragraph number 2 is all about the organisation. Okay, so you start off by telling the employer how good you think they are. So make sure you've done your research here and say stuff along the lines of, one of the main things that has attracted me to this company is da 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 da, and this is where the research comes in. So make sure that you are providing them with information about what interests you about the company. From there, we go into paragraph 3. Paragraph 3 is about you. So in my previous role as marketing director at da 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 da, I was responsible for da 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 da, which is something that I will be able to leverage in this upcoming position advertised with you, such as on XYZ projects. So what you're doing here is you're talking about how you have the skills to suit that employer and how those skills will contribute to that employer by giving an example of a project that they have done. And this is where you would scour the company's About Us page on the website, or even jump around on LinkedIn, have a look at what employees have been working on, look in the news, anything like this. This gives you information. And then paragraph 4 is where you would say, here is everything else I've done, and here is when I'm available, and basically you sign off, okay? So that's kind of the structure. Second thing I want to talk to you about here is the tone / the voice you're using. Obviously it needs to be professional, but what you have to do in this situation is write to the employer, okay? Now, it's obviously going to, most of the time, it's going to be a human reading it. But what you need to be doing is make the employer the focus. You want the employer to think, oh shit, this person knows exactly what they're talking about. They know exactly what we do. That's impressive. If the employer comes away from reading a cover letter with that mindset, you're gonna stay in their mind. Number 3 is keep it simple. So I've given you the structure, I've given you kind of the focus of the letter. What I want you to do as well is refrain from using padded language or fluffy language. Don't use words like, oh, I'm hardworking, motivated, polite, rarely late. That's expected of you. If you're not those things, you'll get fired, okay? Be relevant, okay? That's the thing. Relevance is king. If you are not being relevant, there is no incentive for the employer to keep reading your cover letter. If I'm honest, employers don't like reading garbage cover letters. What I mean by a garbage cover letter is basically something that you could send to 50,000 different employers because you think it saves you time. Employers want to know why you want to work for them, and that's the emphasis there. Has to be on why you want to work for that company, okay? The reason you want to work for Google might be completely different for the reason that you want to work for Microsoft, okay? Other than from the software perspective, it might be for particular projects, it might be for a particular part of the role, it might be because of a cultural reason. Fine. You need to showcase this to an employer, okay? So that's it. 3 easy steps of how you can actually make a better cover letter than the one you're currently sending out. Oh, my last tip as well. Write a new letter every single time you apply for a job. Do not have one master copy and try to edit it or adapt it to every single job you apply for, because you'll spend more time editing it, adapting it, and making it basically good than you would just starting a letter from scratch, okay? There's a reason why people say, oh yeah, it's a blank canvas. Use a blank canvas. Control N or Command N if you're using a Mac on Microsoft Word or Google Docs or whatever. Start fresh, because that way you're writing a letter targeted at that employer in particular. So I hope you found that useful, guys, and I'll check in with you tomorrow.